Hey everybody, it's VegetX2. Today we're checking out the early access title Clockwork Empires by Gaslamp Games. It's in for a new patch today that brings jungles, cults, crazy beasts, fish people with emotions, and all kinds of other new tweaks. The biggest part of it is the jungle biome that introduces an entirely new area, new strategies, and new wildlife and whatnot. I actually played through the experimental build of it for a little bit before the official release today, and I have to say I like a lot of the changes. The AI behaves differently. There's a lot more task management inside the game for the AI, so that people don't just fall asleep on the job or die and have entire sections abandoned. It's a really cool change. It moves everything a little bit faster. One of the other things is the fact that fish people now have kind of their own emotion system. They're attached to the human AI element to some degree, and so they carry weapons. They have a little bit more free will and thought compared to just being monsters that would randomly just thrash your crops and kill your people in the wild. They'll still rush your camps, but not to the degree that they used to. Everything's a little bit more calculated, and usually, in most cases that I've had so far, is I've had to kind of provoke them to get kind of a mass onslaught going. Otherwise, it's just a stray here and there. So one of the big changes it impacts the armies and also the AI to some degree. You can't just boss them around. You can't just be, this mystical figure in the sky. You are a bureaucrat in the game's eyes, and so even though you're not visible, you are a person within the realm. And so if you're bossing people around left and right, they are going to get sick and fed up and to some degree defiant. So it's a management issue for people who like to play it more like an RTS because you can do that, but it comes at an expense of basically loyalty. And it's an interesting change, and I think it helps balance the dynamic they're going for is, which is letting people be able to freely uh, have players roam around and, kind of develop this world while letting the AI decide how they want to go about that. Yes, build this structure. They build it at their own will. Maybe they do that and then they go farm, or maybe they do that and then they go cook, or they do something else. Even though everybody has their own job routines that they're supposed to be part of, it's an interesting change in how that all happens. So early impressions of Clockwork Empires, I have to say, it took me a while to get over the fact that I can't have my hands in everything that goes on. I can't assign specific people to do certain tasks. I can just ask that of them, and it's a hard break to take on. Normally I'm used to, an RTS where you or a sim where you tell people and they just do it unquestionably. In this case, though, the AI, can be very defiant. You could tell them to go make stew and they'll go take a nap instead. And the crazy part is the game really relies on their cooperation and that synergy that you're able to create by having a good ecosystem for everybody. So if you're too bossy, they can be defiant. And the problem with the defiance is they could starve. If they starve, they have cannibalism. If they have cannibalism, it's kind of hard to go back from there. As they call it long pork. Is when they butcher people down. So that's a bad road to go down. The thing about that too is that if they're defiant or they're not doing their tasks right, you kind of just have to watch and cringe because your only option is restarting the game. There's no force. You can't just tell them you're going to do this period. Uh, so it's interesting in that regard. I've had plenty of cases where I needed building materials and they either had neglected to finish building machines or they just didn't feel like doing it. So if they needed more beds, tough. We have no more, planks. Uh, so the whole city came to a halt, and it was a very messy end. We went from about 30 colonists to about 6. Yeah, I would say always dedicate a good amount of your resources, and, or people in this case, to farming and good taking care of good crops and harvesting as much as they can, as fast as they can, so that your storage always has a good amount within it. If not, then yeah, you will hit the hunger issues. Your colony might not last. And I imagine that when they have uh, more hard set goals about how you're supposed to progress, if you're not, in it, then you'll probably be in some trouble pretty quick. I noticed that when, neglecting to kind of do all that, by, day 5 or 6, everything's just going to heck. And, even with the backup from, from the motherland, it doesn't matter. You can only pick a few things, but usually starvation is a big concern for them because you're supposed to be the big success story of the new world. But you can't rely on that. It's usually never enough once your group is starving. Uh, it's usually past the point of no return. So just things to keep in mind. You just gotta stay on top of the structures, know which ones are important to the area that you're in. You could fill the biome with every structure possible, but I haven't gotten to the point where I've even been able to assign jobs to all those. And even more so is where they're even relevant. I mean, there's a medicine, option. You can create an alchemist or chemist to help, uh, prepare vaccines and whatnot. But at this point, the game doesn't really have, fevers and plague yet. So when it does, I'll definitely do one of those. But for now, not needed. So that's it for, our impressions right now on Clockwork Empires. You can see, the video is playing right now, and it's an interesting situation. I mean, it's not every day you get to manage a group of AI that aren't really that obedient if you're not that great of a leader. So it's on Steam right now. It's $29.99 on for early access. They are trying to do monthly updates, but don't hold them to that. I mean, the thing is, do you want monthly updates or do you want good quality updates and changes? Things like the cult system and redoing the AI, you know, they may not seem as impactful right now, but the reach that they have is, pretty big. Having the cult system allows the AI to essentially take control of your people if, they want to join a cult, and allow them to build independently a new city, harvest their own resources without even, necessarily having to steal yours. So, it's, definitely an interesting change in the game. And so hopefully, we keep seeing more of that as the game comes along. So the update goes live probably by the time this video goes out. So check it out, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.